Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to be looking at the introduction of client-server networks. So, to begin with, what you see in front of you is a server room. The servers, as you can see, are very, very big compared to a computer. So let's draw out a traditional client-server network. In a client-server network, you would have normal computers, like you use in school, like laptops or those old-school computers where you've got a tower with it. And these computers are spread out. It could be in a building, it could be in a room, and another word for spread out is distributed. So these computers are spread out. And how it works is that you have, or you had, a client. And they're both connected to a server. Now remember, these servers were like that. Giant supercomputers. Now these clients, which are just normal computers, are connected to a server. So in a client-server network, a computer is actually called a client, and any computer connected to a server is then called a client. Now, how it works, or how it used to work especially, was that let's imagine that you wanted to develop a movie. And let's imagine that you're editing the film. You're adding some sounds, some special effects. Let's imagine that this guy sitting here is adding special effects to a film that has a bit of blood. Let's imagine that it's got a character like a Smurf. He's bleeding to death. Now, this computer here will be performing some processing. Fetch, decode, execute. But also, the server will be helping out the client in doing a part of the processing as well. So it'll help the computers load so it doesn't drain all of this computer's resources. So the computer doesn't slow down, because when you're doing things like video editing especially, it takes up a lot of your computer's speed, a lot of your computer's memory, so it starts slowing down. The server will help balance it all out, so it will share it. It's being nice. So they both split a part of the processing. It's split. Now, in order for this client, this computer, to be able to communicate with this server, and for this server to cooperate with the client. So what allows them to do that, to allow them to cooperate, is some special software called middleware. You don't really need to know at the moment how middleware works, but basically it allows the client to cooperate with the server so that they can work together. It's some special software which you need to be putting onto both the client and you need it on the server. If you have that, then they can communicate. Now, this is like the beginning of client-server networks. And they're still around today, this style, but things have developed. And in modern day computers, it still uses the idea of having a client, it still uses the idea of having a server, it still cooperates, but there's a difference, and that's what we're going to look at. The difference is how the client-server applications language used to describe the way they operate has changed. Operate has changed. I'm running out of space. So let me repeat that. In modern day computers and client-server architecture, things are the same as what I showed you previously, but with a slight difference. Client-server applications language, so the language used to describe the way these two operate, the language has changed. And that, so far to you, will be like, what are you talking about? And I'm in the next video is going to explain exactly what I mean, but you need to know that point. In modern day client-server architecture, the language used to describe the way they operate has changed.